friends, welcome back to my YouTube channel. If you're new, my name is Mal and I am the owner and maker of Made by MANIANDMAL. In today's tutorial, we're going to be making a floral peekaboo split tumbler. This one is super easy to put together. The technique can be used with all different kinds of design concepts, so I really hope that you are inspired by this technique. It was so much fun to do and I can't wait to make another one. So if you like the video, make sure you hit that thumbs up button, and if you're not already subscribed, make sure you hit that subscribe button down below as well. It doesn't cost you anything. You'll just see my YouTube videos pop up in your home feed on YouTube, and that's a good way to not miss any new videos. I upload 3 times a week, every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, so make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss any of the fun. All the products I'm using in this video are linked down below in the description box. I also have some discount codes for you, of course, as well as links to all of our social media pages, our Facebook group, our Patreon group, all of that good stuff, so be sure to check that out and let me know what you think in the comments. I think that's it. Let's go! We're going to jump right in with a 20-ounce skinny straight from Craft Haven. I've already added a coat of epoxy to this cup, and I added a little bit of extra fine Firefly from PDB into my epoxy, so we've got a nice shimmery, glittery surface. I'm going to tape off the bottom half of my cup. I didn't measure, I just kind of eyeballed it, and this is going to be where we do the main design for our peekaboo. I'm using a lot of glitter today. I've got Stuck With You, Candelabra, Minorca, Audrey from PDB, Diamond, Oberon, 1920, Dublin, Coachella, and Jawbreaker, all from PDB. And then I've also got Audrey from Peachy Olive Glitter, so I've got 2 Audreys. I'm gonna mix up 30 milliliters of a little extra ink epoxy. I mix small amounts of epoxy like this for about 3 minutes, basically just until it's kind of clear and I don't see any of those little wavy lines going through it. And I'm going to take each glitter and pour a little bit into its own individual medicine cup. You can see how much I'm doing here, just a couple shakes. And then once I'm done filling all of these up, we're going to take that 30 milliliters of epoxy and disperse it amongst all of these cups. The goal is to have kind of a thick, chunky consistency. I don't want super runny epoxy with this technique. I really want things to be kind of like jam consistency, if that makes sense. I want it kind of thick, not super runny, but not so thick that I can't spread it. I don't want drip consistency. Let's just stick with jam consistency. So as I start to stir here, I'm gonna see if it's too runny, and if it is, I'll just add a little bit more glitter like I'm doing here, spread it around, and this is kind of the consistency I'm looking for. It's moving, but it's also kind of coagulating in the cup. Coagulating is a weird word. So I'm gonna mix all of these together. Once they're mixed, I'm gonna let them sit about 5 to 10 minutes just to thicken up a tiny bit, and then throw my cup on my turner. And I'm going to now go in with all of these individual glitters. It does not matter what order you use. It doesn't matter what color you start with. And I'm just going to get a little bit on my finger. Of course, wear gloves, please. And I'm going to just brush a little bit of glitter on. I stop my turner during this process just to make it easier to spread the glitter on. I'm putting on thin enough layers that it's not going to really move. At the end, we had a lot of epoxy on the bottom of this cup, so I did start my turner, but during the application process, I'm pretty much just manually turning my cup and applying these random glitters in no particular order in these little brush strokes all over the cup. I'm layering different colors, stacking them on top of each other, blending them together. My goal is really just to mix these up, get this kind of brush stroke technique going down here, and get all of these glitter colors onto my cup. I don't care about the order or anything like that. So I'm just going to continue brushing these on, trying to fill up all of this white space in the bottom area of this cup. I'm not worried about the actual bottom of the cup because this is a peekaboo. There's no need to glitter it. There's no need to worry about it at this point. It's going to get covered up with paint, so don't worry about it. And that's the other thing. Remember, this is going to be a peekaboo, so Your design or your brushstroke technique does not need to be perfect. What we're looking for here is basically just some dimension and variation in your glitter colors so that your peekaboo looks really unique and isn't just one solid color. So don't worry about perfection. Don't worry about perfect blending. It will all look beautiful in the end, no matter what you do. And you can use as many different colors as you want. They don't all have to go together. Obviously, I stayed with the kind of turquoise, silver, white color story, but you could do rainbows, you could do all purples, whatever color combination you want to do, go for it. I promise it will look good. So once I kind of got to the end of my glittering here, my space is pretty full. I decided I wanted to add a little bit more color. I had a lot of light teals here, so I took High Tide, which is a pigment powder from PDB, and Clay, which is a mica powder from Simply Sarah, and I took Clay and mixed it into one of the cups that had my glitter in there, and then I took my leftover candelabra and diamond and put High Tide in there and mixed it together. So I'm basically just tinting my glitter. This is going to be really shimmery and sparkly and beautiful. Look at that. Woo! So now I'm going to basically do the exact same thing. I'm going in with the clay mixture first, and I think I mixed this with Audrey from Peachy Olive. I'm not 100% sure, but I think that's what I mixed it with. And I'm just going to, as you can see here, take my popsicle stick and add some little really rough brush strokes. At this point, we've got a lot of epoxy on our cup, so it's gonna start to move a little bit and blend together, which is why I have my turner moving. So don't be afraid to really put this on there. Out of the 30 milliliters that I mixed up, I definitely did not use all of it. I did have leftover glitter or leftover epoxy glitter mixture. I ended up making a car coaster or something with it, so you don't need to mix up 30. I just always like to have more than I'm gonna need versus not enough. So next I'm gonna go in with the High Tide glitter mixture, and I'm putting that pretty much directly on top of the clay, plus in some other random areas. And this really brought this whole thing to life, gave it a lot more dimension, and really just set the design off. So once this coat cured, I added 2 more layers of epoxy to get my cup as smooth as possible. Then I went in and did some sanding, and I thought I was ready to start my peekaboo, but feeling around the cup, it just wasn't smooth enough. I really wanted this to be perfect, so I went in with another coat of epoxy. So here's my cup now. It's got a lot of epoxy on it. My layers were fairly thin though. Don't feel like you need to glob your epoxy on. More thin layers is better than less thick layers. So I've got these little line art flowers that I got from Creative Fabrica. I'm pretty sure they're from Creative Fabrica. I'll try to find the link and put it in the description box below. But I just cut them out of stencil vinyl. I measured the height of this bottom half of my cup and then made the flowers that height. And now I'm taping off this top portion so I know exactly where to place them and where my paint's gonna go and everything. And I'm just going to place my flowers using transfer tape around this bottom portion of my cup. Of course, you don't have to do flowers. The decal we're gonna add to the top kind of matches these flowers, but you could do literally any peekaboo pattern down here. Of course, you could do like leopard print, stars, hearts, animals, paw prints, whatever you want to do down here. That's what I love about this technique, is that you can make so many different looks and create so much variety using the exact same technique. So I'm obsessed with this glitter look down here, so I'm planning on making more of these. I just have to settle on a pattern. So don't be afraid to think outside the box, try something different, mix your glitter colors up, do a different pattern on the bottom, really just play with this and have fun. Remember, this is art, this is fun, you cannot go wrong, okay? So once I've got my flowers on there, I made sure that everything looked like one continuous line. So I did insert a couple just individual florals so that we have one continuous flower garden all the way around the bottom of our cup. The paint I'm using for the peekaboo is Aurora Blue from Montana Colors, and I did 2 thin coats on that, let it dry overnight, and now I'm going into Peely Peely, my favorite thing. I removed the tape first, and you can see there's a little bit of that glitter coming up, but it's not going to matter. We're going to put striping there anyway, so don't worry about that. And now I'm just gonna go in and peel up all of these decals. This is so satisfying. I feel like this is a lot of people's like least favorite part of peekaboos. It's my favorite. I love seeing the glitter once it's revealed underneath the paint. It just makes my heart sing. I love doing peekaboos, so this was very good mood inducing for me. So just be careful, of course, as you do this. You don't want to scratch your paint. But once I've got my decals all pulled up here, I'm going to go right into my top decal application. I'm using a clear cast decal from Gracefully Created. I do have a link for her website down below, along with a discount code for you. And I just apply these like a sticker. You can use transfer tape, but I just go right in, peel it off the backing, and apply it like a sticker. I do try not to touch, the adhesive with my fingerprints as little as I can, but you can't see any of the seams or lines underneath epoxy. You can barely see them now, not even under epoxy. So once I had the decal on, I went right into my next layer of epoxy. Speaking of epoxy, I'm using a little extra ink epoxy, of course. This coat was about 20 milliliters, and this is going to be our last like thick coat. I waited about 8 to 12 hours before it was fully dry and I was ready to move on to our vinyl stripe. I'm using silver textured metallic vinyl from Cricut. I cut this at, I believe, 0.15 inches wide, and it's about 11 inches long. And I'm just going to place it right along that middle seam to cover that up. And I'm using my cup cradle to keep my cup straight. And you can see I'm just turning my cup, holding the striping in the same place and letting the cradle do the work of turning. This really helps me keep my stripes straight. I'm going to cut off the excess and then go right into my final coats of epoxy. This first coat after epoxy was probably about 15 milliliters, and then the final coat was only about 10. This cup has a lot of epoxy on it. It's a little heavy, but it's beautiful, so it's okay. So here's the final result. Like I said, absolutely love this design. I love this technique, and I hope that you do as well. If you enjoyed the tutorial, please let me know in the comments and make sure that you hit that thumbs up button on this video. It really helps the channel out. And if you're not subscribed to the channel already, what are you waiting for? Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any new videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Okay, love you. Bye.
Hello, friends! Okay, let's roll it again. Split tumbler, peekaboo, Floral cup. What is with the hand movements today? In today's tutorial, we're going to be Okay, bye!